So I think we all are becoming aware that intention is important in advertising, and it's pretty obvious why that's the case. If people are not interested in your ads and don't pay attention to your ads, they're not going to see them, remember them, and they're not going to buy anything as a result. As I said in the panel, I think all the research and the results and the data that we're getting from attention tracking and attention optimization is really useful. But I think it's also really useful to flip the script and think like an ordinary person and what it's like to be living your life and to have your life bombarded with ads. And ads really, I think, need to do one of two things to be interesting to people. They either need to be inherently interesting, because they're beautiful or they're entertaining or they're surprising or they're funny or they're interesting stories or they're sexy or whatever, or they need to be useful, and in the sense that they help people achieve whatever they're trying to achieve at that moment. Now that might be, they're trying to quench their thirst, they're trying to get off with a pretty girl in a bar, they're trying to impress their boss, they're trying to learn French, or whatever it is that they're trying to do. Marketing is not about selling things, it's about selling, if you like, solutions to problems. There's that famous quote about you're not selling a quarter-inch drill, you're selling the ability to create a quarter-inch hole. Attention is, to some extent, an arms race. People only have a limited amount of attention. People don't want to pay attention to advertising. Mostly what they do is they use their mind and their eyes and their ears to screen that stuff out. And they do it very efficiently and they do it very well. So as advertisers, what we have to do is basically be more interesting than our competitors. It is always, it's to some extent a zero-sum game, and it should be. We should respect people's right to be left alone. I really do think, I really hope that the battle for attention, that arms race, doesn't just become a war of spam. And that too often that's what it does, is that we demand attention by being intrusive and annoying and pissing people off. If what we do is we draw people in by being entertaining and charming and artistic and creative, or useful and functional and relevant, then we can get attention, we can get more attention than our rivals, and we can do so without pissing people off. Yeah, I think that was a point that Mike Follett made, was the role of empathy. I said, it's really important to stop thinking like marketers and start thinking like people. Start thinking about, and I hate, for example, for instance, the word consumers or our customers. Let's say people, putting yourself in other people's shoes, or as Mike said, he's a very clever man, seeing through other people's eyes. And that's empathy, radical empathy. And when you start to think about it in that way, you have to think, the person I'm talking to, what are they like? What's their life like? What are they doing right now? Also, what environment is my advertising appearing in, like the advertising environment, because ads are not seen in isolation. And also, what's the cultural environment? And when you start to think about it, when you see it through the other person's eyes, your beautiful little ad, or the thing that you thought was so compelling and interesting, is one ad in a wall of shit, that people are screening out, and which may be happening, pull back a bit further, and it's happening in a town in, Tel Aviv or something, with missiles raining down or something like, or people are, they've got massively different concerns from your advertising. So there's culture, there's events, there's people's lives, and we're only a teeny tiny part of all that. One of the themes of today was about attention, as they say, through the funnel. And again, being empathetic about it, seeing through other people's eyes. What that is how do you stay interesting from when people are just relaxing at home, not caring about your product, to the moment where I've got 15 minutes to buy something. And a good example of the latter is in London, as you emerge from Leicester Square tube station through the exit onto, I think it might be St Martin's Lane, there is, just at the top of the stairs before you exit to the tube station, there's a little banner that just says something like McDonald's 200 yards and an arrow. And that is beautifully done, because so many times you get to London on a trip, you come out of that station, it's lunchtime, this happens to me anyway, it's lunchtime, you're hungry, you've got 15 minutes before your first meeting, or you're going shopping, or whatever it is you're doing, and it's just there at the right moment with the very, very simple prompt. Now that's a really boring ad until you're hungry and coming out of the tube station, and then it's very interesting. And it's very low key. It doesn't have to scream attention, because if you're hungry, it's intensely relevant. So being interesting in that situation is about understanding that there's a bunch of people coming up those stairs who really would love a Big Mac.